concept of that movie was that all this was just a computer-generated matrix. Nothing was real. Well, I'm here to tell you that movie is more appropriate than you think. Because if you grew up like when I grew up, what my mother told me is you go to school, get an education, and get a job for a big company. You'll be set for life. And that was, I think, if you grew up in my era, that's what you were told. Go to school, get an education. And it's funny, the two companies she always picked out, she said, get a job for General Motors or IBM. Because you'll have a job for life. Because remember, in those days, IBM, they were proud of the fact they had never laid off anybody. Well, there was an article in the Marin Independent Journal. Here's what happened in a 3-year period. IBM reduced its workforce by 122,000 people. AT&T, 83,000. GM, 74,000. The Postal Service, 55,000. Sears, 50,000. GTE, 17,000. Baxter International, 16,000. Bank of America, Amoco, 12,000 each. Paul Zane Pilzer, who's a Nobel Prize-winning economist, says that we are losing 500,000 jobs a year due to technology. Jobs that will never be replaced. And this is, I've been listening to the trend, the surveys at the end of the year, like Challenger, Gray, and Christmas, which is a big consulting firm on employment. They were given the figures last year. How many jobs disappeared? It was like 500,000 and change. So Pilzer was really right on that. Let me tell you what I think happens as we leave the millennium. That number gets higher, not lower. Because of the internet, because of how fast the world is changing, it'll probably, and so many things becoming automated. Instead of losing 500,000 jobs a year, we'll start losing 700,000 a year, 800,000, 1 million jobs a year will probably be disappearing, never to be replaced. Now, let me tell you a secret. The jobs that are disappearing, the people that are being laid off, these are not the guys working at the steel mill. Those jobs were downsized decades ago. These are not the people working at the shoe factories. Those jobs were downsized, sent overseas decades ago, too. Let me tell you who's getting downsized today. Supervisors, managers, mid-level executives. Now, here's what the government tells us. The government tells us the economy is doing great. Thousands of new jobs were created. Inflation's low, non-existent, and thousands of jobs are being created. Well, what's wrong with this picture? See, the jobs being created are jobs like drive-through window jobs. The jobs being lost are the mid-level manager jobs. So if you've got someone who is making $60,000 a year as a supervisor and they're taking care of their 3 kids and they get downsized, it isn't going to do them any good to get a job with a paper hat, is it? They're not going to be able to take care of their family. And that's what I'm telling you. The paper hat jobs are the jobs that are being created today. So the government can give us all these thoughts about how great the economy is. And the reality is, do you get paid the same amount of, do you really make, is your dollar that you get worth as much today as it was a year ago? Of course not. Is it worth as much as it was 5 years ago? Not even close. 10 years ago? Inflation, which they tell you is non-existent, of course, that's not true at all. We know we pay a lot more to get the same things today than we did a couple of years ago, and that's going to continue to operate that way. So this economy, if 96 out of 100 people, did they tell you that when you applied for your job? When you got out of college, did they tell you that in college? Listen, here's the deal. If you go to school, get an education, you're going to be able to get a job, and 96% guaranteed you're going to end up dead or dead broke. Did they tell you that in your interview? Did they forget that again? They always seem to forget that. I don't know why that. When you go to those interviews, Gary, they always seem to forget that, don't they? See, that's the that system, and it works for most people because they're trapped in the rat race. They don't have enough money. They are living paycheck to paycheck. Here's another thing from the USA Today. Most reject. They're talking about. They ask people, how would you like to live to 100? Now, me, I don't want to live to 100 because that's too short. I'm looking for at least 125. But they asked these people, they did a big survey, who wants to live to 100. The AARP did the survey. 63% said, no, I don't want to live that long. 63%. So they asked him, why don't you want to live that long? 46% feared declining health, and 38% worry because they won't have enough money to live that long. What's up with that? Could you imagine being willing to give away your life to saying, hey, I don't want to hang on because I'm not going to have enough money to make it? That economy is broken. Doesn't work. That's cause number one. Let me tell you what's cause number two of all these people who are regretting the fact that their alarm clocks are going off. Now, first of all, I mean, think about this. Is that the dumbest invention you ever heard of in your life? An alarm clock? I mean, think about it. It's got to be the most unnecessary, stupid, idiotic invention ever done. Do you know when you're supposed to wake up, Debbie? When you finish sleeping. That's when you're supposed to wake up. So what is this alarm? Why are people... So let me tell you cause number two. Why people are so nervous when these alarm clocks are going off. And cause number two is what Eric Butterworth calls divine dissatisfaction. In other words, these people, and some of you listening to the tape are in this category, some of you are in the first category, some of you tonight are in the first, some of you are in the second category. The second category is people who are making good incomes. They have good titles. They have, quote, good jobs. But they're not happy because they're not contributing. They don't have meaning in their life. In other words, they may be a doctor who's working, got a beeper going off 24 hours a day, and then if they check someone into the hospital, there's a committee that oversees that, and then if they prescribe prescription drugs to those people, there's a committee oversees that. If they take them off the drugs, there's a committee oversees that. When they check them, if they don't check them out of the hospital in time, they say, hey, that lady had the baby yesterday. What's she still doing in the hospital today? Get her out of here. So they got committed, and then HMOs and PPOs and managed care and malpractice insurance, and all of a sudden, you know what? This doesn't look so fun anymore. So they may be a school teacher who got into business because they love to teach kids, and now they spend their day worrying about running the metal detectors and cafeteria duty and everything except what they wanted to do, which was to teach and mold to help develop young minds. See, so they have this divine dissatisfaction, meaning because they know in their heart of hearts that they could do more. They could be more. And though they got a nice title or a nice job or a corner office or they get to wear a suit, they got a fancy car, they got a nice house, they got a country club membership, they have all the toys, but they don't have the fulfillment. So we're going to talk, whichever one of those categories you're in, we're going to show you this business tonight that'll help you in either event. Because yes, it can give you financial freedom back. And if you already got the money thing out of the way, we can show you how you can contribute. Because we got a business. You're going to choose the hours that you work. You're going to pick the people that you work with. You can start it part-time with whatever you're doing right now. There's great travel opportunities. If you like to travel, man, you can travel all over the country or all over the world. Tax benefits are incredible. You can save average $5,000, $10,000 a year, whatever you're making your regular job. You can bring that down to the bottom line as profit in most countries because of the kind of tax benefits that you can get by having an at-home business. And then two other benefits I think just stand head and shoulders above all that. And the first of them is the fact that you can get rich quick. Now, see you laughing? Now, why do I say get rich quick? Because don't we always say we should never say get rich quick? Well, let me tell you why I say get rich quick. Because what we're going to show you tonight is a business that you can start part-time, 7 to 10 hours.